So if you own a business or you're engaging in business activity, or even you're just wanting to start a business, it's important to have invoices. Some of your customers or clients are going to want invoices, so that can be an important document to have. And now if you're set up with accounting or bookkeeping software, typically these platforms can create invoices for you. And if that's the case, then you can just rely on those. But for other businesses that are small, just starting out, don't have a high volume of transactions, it might not be necessary to get accounting or bookkeeping software. So in order to make an invoice without accounting or bookkeeping software, you can just make them in something like Canva or even Microsoft Word or Google Docs. And regardless of how you make them, it's important for them to look professional, and even more important to have the right information on them. So in this video, I'm just going to give you a quick tutorial on how to make an invoice using Google Docs. Okay, so just getting into the demonstration here. First thing you'll probably want to have is just the title up here where it says invoice. So just to clearly demonstrate that this document is an invoice and it's separate from a quote or a receipt. To the right here, you'll probably want to have some branding and some information about your company. So company name could be your mailing address, your street address, email address, phone number, website, could have a logo like I do here. Next thing is probably want to have an invoice number. This is good both for your records and for the records of your client, and good just to change this each time and do it sequentially. You can start at 0 if you want to, or start at a different number, but just increase sequentially. And next thing would be an invoice date. So when are you actually submitting this invoice to your client? Next thing would be who are you billing it to? And this can be placed differently, formatted differently, but this type of information is really important to have on any invoice. But with the billing, who is it going to? Is this to an individual? Is this to a company? Is it to an individual on behalf of a company, like care of? You'll probably want to put, in the very least, their name. You might want to put some contact information or their address. Next thing would be the due date. So this is really important. Is it due in 7 days? Is it due in 30 days or maybe even 60 days, or due upon receipt like I have here? And then after that, you can start to fill out the details of the invoice, what's actually included in the transaction. So here I have service description, but you could change the wording here, especially if you're more so selling products, where you want to have like an itemized list of the products that are being sold. Or maybe it's just a service provided, or maybe it's a combination of products and services. But what you want to do is just list all the items included in the transaction, and then here the price per item, and then the quantity of items, and then the total is the quantity times the price. So let's say you are invoicing them for a product that you write here, and that product is $25 each, and you had 4 of them, then the total is $100. So generally good to include a lot of detail here. Kind of depends on the situation though. Next thing over here on the left would be, maybe some terms and conditions. When do they have to pay? What happens if they pay late? Are there extra, service terms that they should be aware of? Under that, you'll probably want to have, maybe your business number might be required, or GST number, or some type of sales tax number. This can depend on the jurisdiction and potentially what's included in the transaction, but always good to be in compliance with that. And then jumping over here to the right, when it comes to finalizing the amount, you want to have a subtotal, which is the amount generally before any extra fees or taxes. And then when it comes to taxes and fees, you want to break those down in terms of how much you're charging them. You might want to have percentage plus dollar figure total, or at least dollar figure total. And then the grand total is just that subtotal plus any sales taxes, or if there's any other fees that you have to add. So that's going to be the amount that they actually have to pay. And then at the bottom here, I just have payment options, which is optional, but it's good to have. Like, are you trying to get them to pay by e-transfer or by check or cash, or is there a link to your website where they can pay, or should they come in and pay with a POS system or electronic funds transfer? So good just to have those options, and obviously update this every time. I think it's good to save it as a PDF before you send it, and then every time you are making a new one, just make a copy rather than redoing this, because you want to keep this in your records as is. So hopefully this video was helpful. And again, I will leave a link in the video description if you want to download that template of the invoice. And from there, you can just adjust it to make it suitable for your business. And feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel here, where I currently have over 230 videos that cover business management and business startup topics.